Could Tom Thibodeau be under fire after rushing OG Anunoby right back into the fire after he came off of his elbow surgery? That's what we're here to talk about today. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to waste no time jumping right into it as we always do, because there's a chance that we could see some fans and some reporters and analysts alike maybe putting Tom Thibodeau under some fire after Tibs kind of rushed OG Anunoby back into his normal minutes and right back into the fire after coming off of an elbow surgery. And basically, this is kind of a big deal because we're going to see potentially Tom Thibodeau under some scrutiny for the thing that he's gotten the most scrutiny for in his career. Could that be back to bite him again? Let's break this down. So look, as Thibodeau said when he was asked if OG came back too early, he said you can't work backwards. There's many steps he had to go through. He met all the markers. He was cleared. This is a possibility. Whenever you come back from surgery, this is what you're looking at. We feel good about where he is. So look, clearly Tibbs kind of gave the same Tibbs answer he always gives, where he's not going to drop some major news to the media or anything like that. The craziest part is that he actually did inform the media that OG went back to New York, got an MRI, it came back clean, and by the way, that's the only reason why he mentioned that OG got an MRI. It's because it came back clean, so it could just be kind of damage control in a way. And then that he might, but probably won't play in Denver. Now, here's the thing. OG's not going to play in Denver. That's not going to happen. So we are looking at OG Anunoby coming back at the very closest to the very end of the week. But here's the deal. He came back and basically instantly went back to his old minutes. He was hardly on a minutes restriction, and that is worrisome. And we know that Tibbs is riding these guys hard with the injury to Julius Randle, with the injury to Mitchell Robinson. We see that he's not really going deeper into the bench, despite that being an option. And also, we do have to talk a little bit about the fact that the Knicks have another open roster spot, and Leon Rose has to use this. Because I understand Tibbs is not playing Shake Milton, even though he should, and we'll get back into that in 1 second. But can we just use these roster spots when we have injuries? Like, Leon, let's go here. Let's go. We need players. We can't just be riding the same guys in 8-man rotations in March, at the end of March. Playoffs are in a month. We need these guys healthy. And we kind of need to be aware that if we keep overplaying them, there's a chance of burnout. And we can't have that in the NBA playoffs because we don't want to lose in the first round because we're way too good for that. So look, here's the deal. They signed Shake Milton and nothing happened. He's hardly ever played. He's gotten 1 or 2 games of garbage time minutes where he's played like 3 total minutes with the Knicks. I don't understand why. Look, I get he didn't have his best season. This has actually been his worst statistical season in his NBA career. I don't care. We know Shake Milton can be a good role player for a basketball team. We've seen him start on playoff 76ers teams. So I really don't think that Shake should be just relegated to 0 minutes. It doesn't make sense, especially when we're looking at stuff like this with Josh Hart, who's playing 48 minutes, 39 minutes, 42 minutes, 39 minutes, 43 minutes, 42 minutes, 43, 45, 47, and 40. Josh Hart is playing nonstop, and at some point, he is going to burn out. It's just physically impossible to keep this up. I mean, look, it's not like this is a week apart. It's not like it's the NFL where you get a week's rest. If you look, it's 2 days apart, almost exclusively, outside of 1 or 2 3-day breaks in that span. Josh Hart is playing a lot of basketball. He's playing more basketball than anyone else is in this stretch of time. And it is something to be worried about because we're looking at OG, and now he's hurt after coming back and playing fairly heavy minutes. Now, Mark Berman had a theory on this, and we know how everyone kind of feels about Mark Berman. The man loves his hot takes. And in the words of Mitchell Robinson, Berman, relax. But what his theory is that the Knicks brass, so Leon Rose and co., are protecting OG Anunoby from Tibbs overplaying him, and then obviously so OG could be great for the playoffs. OG was on a minutes restriction in the last outing against the Portland Trailblazers. Tom Thibodeau still played him 33 minutes. I mean, we've seen this with Jalen Brunson too. Brunson clearly has not been fine with minutes-wise. In total, I believe he played 35, 36 minutes last night, and that was considered kind of light for Brunson. With the amount that Brunson hits the floor, I don't want him playing more than 36 minutes in a regular season game. So look, there's truth to this. There's a potential chance that this is actually true, that when they're looking at it, they're like, yeah, we need OG healthy for the playoffs because he is going to guard the best player on every single team that the Knicks face in the playoffs, Whether that's one team, whether it's two, whether it's three, whether it's four, and they go to the NBA Finals. Obviously, the latter is not the most likely scenario, but they very much can be an Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, on First Take today, they were talking about how if the Knicks get healthy, yeah, they're a massive threat. Stephen A. believes that they would go to the Eastern Conference Finals. JJ Redick said that it would be close between the Knicks and the Bucks, though he gave the Bucks the edge. Shannon Sharpe said the same thing as Redick. Clearly, the Knicks are being respected as a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference right now, and because of that, they need their guys healthy. And I understand that Josh Hart, if all goes well and everyone is okay by the playoffs, Josh Hart is going to go to the bench. But he's probably going to be this team's 6th man at the time. I think we all figured it might be Bojan Bogdanovic, but he has not played well enough. Josh Hart would be the New York Knicks 6th man for a starting lineup of Brunson, DiVincenzo, Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein, with the major bench pieces being Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, and then obviously Deuce McBride, also known as Deuce McGoat, because he's the greatest player in NBA history and better than everyone ever except for Jalen Brunson, which is why he's not the starting point guard in the Knicks. But in all seriousness, when we're looking at a guy like Deuce McBride, when we're looking at a guy like Josh Hart, when we're looking at a guy like Mitchell Robinson, the only thing that we're seeing there is we could use a bit more shooting, but that probably means we're only going to get Bojan Bogdanovic for like at most 10 minutes a game, and outside of that, Tibs is going to ride the starters. And I understand the way the modern NBA works, that's kind of what happens. You just ride your starters in the playoffs. They play the majority of minutes, and that you can't put on Tibs. You're like, oh, why is he doing this? Everyone's doing it, so it's fine. Enough. It's fine. It works out. It's okay. But really, it is worrisome to wonder about how OG is going to come back, though the stats might not jump out. These 14.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals in the 17 games played have been massive for the Knicks. I mean, first of all, it's good shooting. You're getting 36% from 3. You're getting 50% from the field. And on top of that, you're getting a 15-2 record when OG plays because the man is just efficient as it gets. So he's a perfect player for this team. Again, to reference First Take today, what JJ Redick said is the second that they made that trade for OG Anunoby, they became an elite team in the Eastern Conference. So it's kind of just this situation where they do need OG healthy. So if the brass is kind of taking it easy, I think that's fine. But I do wonder if Tibs is going to get some scrutiny for it. And as we see here, OG looked to aggravate something in the first half against the Portland Trail Blazers, as he didn't look like himself in the second half. He was wincing through pain, and even worse, on Saturday night against the Kings, did not look great, obviously. And then, also against the Trailblazers, something to be noted is a few times when he felt in pain, he looked towards the bench, and they didn't sub him out. You got to know that if a player's looking towards the bench after getting in pain, it means they want to come out of the game and that they're hurt, and they want to make sure they're okay. You can't just keep them in. That was a mistake on Tibbs' part. Outside of that, Tibbs has probably had his best year coaching in the NBA, if you ask me. I know he's won 2 Coach of the Year awards, but I think this is the best I've ever seen Tom Thibodeau coach. From my perspective, definitely with the New York Knicks. So I am curious to see what happens next. And as we know, he's going to be out more than just tonight, as Woj mentioned, because the right elbow flared up. They needed to calm down. How long he's out is unclear, but it's certainly a concern. I mean, the way that they keep talking about saying it flared up, I am convinced it's just something with the stitching. Like, you're getting some stitches. This is my left elbow, so it's not exactly the same. But if you get stitches on your elbow, and then, you shoot, you defend, you're moving like this a lot, you're passing, it's going to be a lot of strenuation on your elbow. I don't even know if strenuation's a word, but it should be. So guys, let me know down below what you guys think. Like this video, subscribe to Knicks Digest, turn on post notifications. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Have a great day, and go Knicks.